welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Okay, let's see here. Okay, looks like we got everything. Wait a minute. Let me make up some torches. That'll do. I don't want you, and I don't want you. All right. Let's bust out of here. And, okay. All right, west is that away. All righty. Let's get a move on and continue onwards to the FarLands. Marching as we do to the FarLands, Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, raising money for Child's Play charity and enjoying the classic, epic Beta 1.7.3 terrain generation. Because epic is the word, and awesome is another good word. And we like epic and awesome terrain, and cool places to go and see, and assorted ramblings to ramble on about, and so on, and so forth, etc. And dare I say it, indeed. Oh, stop with the ooh. Anywho, here we are. This is the morning of the 295th day since leaving spawn. And I'm going to continue tracking that number, by the way, because I think that's kind of cool to keep track of how many Minecraft days have passed since I departed from spawn. And, of course, there is also the world size that we're keeping track of, which is currently 3,708.16 megabytes, which is only 291.84 megabytes short of the 4,000 megabyte interim goal. We're almost there. It's getting there. I know, I say that every episode, but it's true. In fact, every episode, it's more true than it was the previous one. So there you go. How about that? A truth that gets truer. Is that a thing? Apparently. And we take another swim. And let's detour around the ginormous cave hole in that wall face there, because we're not going in there. However, we can gratuitously kill a chicken or three. Of course, that's more of a challenge than it looks like, because those little beggars have a hitbox about the size of their toenails. It's not easy to hit them. At least it never has been in my experience. And you can, as you can well imagine from the difficulty I had just now in hitting them. That is the pit of nope. Epicness. Epicness abounds. And sometimes it's just a matter of how epically bleh or lame that I can manage to be in what I'm talking about, or rambling on about, or saying without knowing quite what I'm talking about, or whatever it is that I'm doing right now. Yeah. Actually, I was kind of, no, I don't need a boat for this. It's short. I have been wondering what was going to be the topic of discussion for this episode. And it was a big challenge to come up with something, because I had realized this is episode 100. 100 episodes of journeying to the farlands, of walking through Minecraft, walking away from the spawn, and traveling through all this epic terrain. 100 episodes of you good folks watching, commenting, asking questions, and suggesting conversational discussion material, and so forth and so on. 100 episodes of me avoiding caves of doom and death and all that crazy crap, and so on. 100 episodes. Yeah, that's a long time. And of course, on the other hand, it's not as long as it could have been, because I figured it out one time. You see, as most of you probably know, this series, I started episode 1 in November of 2012. And in the time since then, there's been several times when this thing has gone on hiatus, and when basically I've been not doing it for months on end sometimes. One such hiatus break was like something like 13 months, to give you an idea of that. And I can't for the life of me say quite exactly why those long breaks were quite so awesomely long. But one time, it was 5 or 6 months ago, I think, I took some time and I did the math to figure it out. And I don't remember the exact number now, because it has been a while. And I have since then kind of tried to make it a point to not dwell on such things, but there you go. I figured it out, and I believe that by this point in time, had I not had all those long breaks, this would not be episode 100. In fact, it would be much closer to episode 500. I'm certain of that. Like I said, I can't tell you the exact number without stopping to do all that math again. And just this moment, I honestly can't be bothered. I'm doing so many things right now that I don't want to take the time out to figure that out again. I probably will at some point. No, not probably. I know I will. Oh, another pit of nope. We ain't going down there. There. This is better. Yeah. So that's something. A thing that it could have been 500 episodes by now. But that's all right. Not to dwell on negatives. Episode 100 is still epic. And I have a pretty good feeling that episode 200 will happen a heck of a lot sooner. There will be a lot less actual calendar or time between this episode and episode 200. That it is not going to be some horrifyingly long period of time where it doesn't happen. Yeah. And so on. And another thing that I've been thinking about is, well, since I've realized that, hey, episode 100, what was I going to do to commemorate that episode 100? And that's something that has kept me busy and very distractified most of the day, trying to figure out what kind of a appropriate epicness I could come up with, oh boy, to commemorate episode 100. Alright, let's dig this tree down here. Whoops. That's not the center of the tree. Maybe this is. I hope so. Yeah. Normally I despise leaving floaters, but I'm not cutting that monster down. That just isn't going to happen. Take too long. It'll take you 20-30 minutes to cut one of those down unless you're doing it right. Well, okay, that's an exaggeration. More likely 5 to 10 minutes. But still, longer than I wish to devote to cutting down one tree. Yeah. And as for the pig, don't worry. He had it coming. Yeah, he did. He had it coming. Let's see. Actually, there is something that I thought about, and I'm going to do it. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Going to need an unspecified amount of sand. Oh goody, there's a zombie nearby. Isn't that just lovely? There goes the neighborhood. Okay. Let's do some crafting. Something I don't do too much in this world. How many of these can I manage? It looks like 4 is how many I can manage. Do I have a flint and steel? No, but I have flint and I have iron. How many times am I going to have to throw away that extra sand? There. All right. Now, all that remains is to find an appropriate situation to use the recently created TNT. What can we find? It would be nice to find like one of those open spawners, one of those open surface spawners. That would be a great place to use TNT. That would be great indeed. I would really appreciate being able to do that. I have to keep my eye open for it. Of course, I'm always watching for surface spawners because they're sort of kind of on the rare side. I think I've found maybe since I've left spawn in the neighborhood of like, what, 3 or 4 the whole time? Oh, okay. And abandoned boat. There we go. Okay, so let's see about finding something that would be a good thing to blow up. I thought briefly about making a TNT cannon, but the only kind I know how to make requires the use of repeaters, which, while repeaters are not all that difficult to make, they do require redstone, which would require me going mining to get it. And no, I don't have enough TNT to even think about justifying that. Now, if I had like half a stack of TNT, yeah, that would be worth a mining trip to get the redstone to make repeaters and build a TNT cannon. Because then there would be enough TNT to do at least 5 or 6 shots. And it might be cool. So instead, we will continue to travel, or I will continue to travel, and look for a suitable situation or environment or site or what have you upon which to use the TNT. Because we like to blow stuff up. It's not something we get to do very often, but we like to blow stuff up. Yeah. The question is, what shall we blow up? I'd love to find a spawner. That would be great. A spawner or a nest of Endermen. Of course, there are no Endermen in this version, which is almost a pity because I'd love to blow up some Endermen. Isn't that awful? You gotta blow up a nest of chickens. I wouldn't hesitate to do that. I mean, chickens have ended me more times than I care to think about, so I have no objection to ending them in any number of different ways. Oh, wait a minute. Oh boy, let's get back off of this a little bit. All right, let's elevate and hide the HUD. Get it about like this. Screenshot, thumbnail. Yeah. That looks great. Yeah, okay. Epic scenery. Kind of, almost looks sort of kind of familiar, but probably only just because I've seen so many epic bits of scenery in this world. And it seems like there's always another one just around the bend, or well, not around the bend, just down the road ahead of me is a little bit. The ice plane. And there I go trying to sprint again. Isn't that awful? Looks like the ice may give way to water. Oh well. Ah, and then we have the suddenly appearing continent of epicosity. I don't suppose epicosity is a word, but oh well. I'm perfectly fine with that. And unfortunately, I'm also fine with muting for a second. Okay, here we are. Making sure the light that says the microphone is on is actually lit, and it is. All right, it's getting to night, and out here on the ice is a great place to park for the evening. You know, an unobstructed view. There's no hostiles nearby, and they can't spawn on ice, and so on. Okay. Bed the second. I do hope to find something suitable for using the TNT on before the end of this episode, because having made the TNT, it would be wrong not to use it. It really would. Trust me. It's in the rules of TNT. If you make it, you must use it. Sooner or later. Oh, speaking of making it, let's make some boats. Wow. Did you see the selection box offset? The way the selection box was, how far it was offset from the block? I've seen that offset before, but this is the first time I've noticed it quite as big as it is. I first noticed that offset. That was one of the first things, the first visible signs of traveling far from spawn that I noticed way back in episode 40 was selection box offset. And that was quite a bit. A lot more than it was way back then. Okay. Still thinking about TNT. What to blow up? I'm not going to find a surface spawner sailing along the ocean here in a boat, but, well, I guess I'm not sailing because there's no sail on this thing. And it doesn't matter because there's not a whole lot of surface to search right now. It's all in the water. Oh, that's all right. Onward. Well, there's some land. And it looks like I can go around some of that land. Yeah, let's go around it. At least if it lets me. It may not. Hello, zombie in a cave under the lake or ocean or whatever this body of water is. All right. That does it. Duck in here and find a place to park. There we go. All right, there we go. Moving onward. Still looking for some helpless sight or thing to destroy with an explosion. To rip the terrain with the explosive force of several creepers. Something like that. Still haven't. Now, I suppose I shouldn't expect to see another surface spawner anytime too soon. I seem to recall spotting one in a recent episode. Destroying the spawner and looting a couple of chests. Oh, then there's the wool situation. Thank you. I like that one. That was a click and grab without even slowing down. Very good. Okay. This looks like it might be a decent little trip. Yeah. All right. Moving along. 100 episodes of short little boat rides and little walks on the ice and trudging through the frozen mountains and climbing over these epic hills. Definitely coolness. Yeah. Nice little bit of epicosity right there. All right. What did I say about frozen? I see snow up ahead. Speaking of frozen, it's interesting. I was just recently talking about the weather around here being unseasonably warm. And last night and again tonight, overnight low temperatures dropping to below freezing. That's like, wow. That's kind of like, okay, well, plant in my yard that was starting to flower, sorry, I guess you're not going to get to finish doing that. Yeah, because, you know, a sub-freezing overnight temperature is pretty much going to murder that. Which is fine by me. I'm really not all that worried about that. And I'm not too worried about the overnight freezing temperatures returning briefly, so long as it is briefly, because I am so tired of being cold. But I don't think there's too much to worry about, because the forecast is saying that by Tuesday, the temperature should once again be 75 degrees. Yeah. That's some crazy kind of February, isn't it? Okay. I still haven't spotted anything worthy of an episode 100 explosion with the power of 4 TNT, which is like, let's see, creepers drop what? Anywhere from 0 to 3 gunpowder each, and it takes 5 to make a TNT, so 4 TNT, that's 20 gunpowder in use. That's got to be something about if it all went off at once, about a 6 or 7 creeper explosion, at least. I don't know. I'm not actually doing the math. I'm just sort of mentally eyeballing it, as it were. Yeah, I'll just ditch it right there. Sticks, go away. I have plenty of torches. I don't want all this crap clogging up the old inventory. All right, let's see. Well, Having made the TNT, I'm itching to use it. And it's kind of bugging me that there isn't anything here really to use it on. I don't know. I know technically it's theoretically possible to create a TNT cannon that doesn't use any fancy redstone or anything, just like a push button or two, or just a simple lever even. Time for more boats, it looks like. Okay. Now right here, it seems to kind of move around. Right there. That thin black line just to the right of the crafting table. That's the selection box, and it's offset from the actual block by, it looks like about a full pixel, depending on where I'm standing. Yeah. Oh. Crap. End of the third day. Alright, I guess we're going to have to postpone the explosion. We will have a makeup explosion. How about that? And hopefully it won't actually include makeup. That would be terrible. I didn't realize it was this late already. Anyway, so there we are. Episode 100. A century of episodes, as it were. How about I take this stuff that I don't want and throw it out there. Oh, okay. That one's okay. Anyhow, there we are. That is our episode 100. I've got the boats. I might as well make the beds for the next episode. I almost forgot to do that. Isn't that awful? Okay, so there we go. And we'll call that it after I pick this up and throw away what? How do I get into this? Okay, 4 gunpowder isn't going to make anything. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.